Do you text like your dad? I know you probably don't like me asking questions about you and your dad every episode, but your dad will say, "Hey, new text. What's going on? New text. Blah blah blah. New text." Instead of just like pushing return and just sending one giant text, when I see a text from your dad, I wait a few because I know it's gonna be bling bling bling.
I do
bling.
multiple. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's week 3 here in the 2025 competitive DCI season. Daniel Montoya Jr., Aiden Spicer here. The program presented by General Effect. We've had the 4th of July weekend. We've had parades. We've had some shows. And if you're down here in Texas, we've had a lot of rain, which has kept the weather pretty nice, but also pretty tragic when the other stuff going on in the state. So how was your weekend? How was your bantastic weekend, Aiden?
Well, it consisted of a lot of working. I've been just working a lot, but
And you are
so I'm an artistic sandwich maker at Chiba Hut. If you know, you know.
I don't know.
There's a big Chiba Hut fan base.
Is there?
Yeah, home in Leander, definitely. They are very
in
strong.
L-Town.
Yeah.
Now I have been sharing videos with a former, I guess he's an alum, a Leander alum, long time ago, before they were. It was after they were Leander and before they were Leander.
Oh no! The Grace Pit, the early 2000s.
Yes. There are some videos of a content creator on TikTok talking about the L.
Oh, I know all about it. I've reposted all of them.
So have you been checking in with him, or is it because you're from the L? You're in the trenches?
I'm from the L, so I don't have to like check in with him. He's over by Rouse and stuff, so it's like
pretty rough over there, huh? The Rouse Rough Riders.
Lots of pools, lots of big windows, lots of really nice cars, but yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you made it out of the L safe.
I did.
To come to the studio
today.
Didn't have to pay the toll.
I didn't have to check in with him.
You didn't have to pay the troll toll.
Yeah,
awesome. All right,
Shout out to the L.
Shout out to the L. All right, let's get down to it. So yeah, week 3, we are recording it Monday morning, and so we'll talk about the shows that will be taking place later on today. But this weekend, after all of the 4th of July festivities, we had a few shows. 2 of them that had some pretty significant drum corps attending. We start in La Crosse, Wisconsin for the River City Rhapsody. Now, this one had 6 drum corps, and in the order of the finals, it was Blue Coats over Blue Stars, over Colts, over Troopers, over Madison Scouts, over Crossmen. So to me, this was very chalky. Yeah, it was like, this is kind of what you thought, but the way that the scores came out, the way that the spreads is where the fun is in all of this. First of all, this was the first competition performance for the Blue Coats. So it was July 5th.
Yeah.
They had an 83.3, which technically, so this is 100%
Broke the
correct.
world record-ish.
It's like the highest score for a debut performance.
Well,
but they
yes,
waited
but no.
until
Yeah.
Crown came out a few days earlier, and they were at a 79 point something. So I think that might have been the highest score, or close to it. But now an 83. But I don't know that it really should count because you came out on July 5th.
It doesn't count. I don't think that.
Correct.
Yeah,
now insiders say that an 83.3 is also with a show missing a minute and a half of their closer, which I have been told they're working on this week because they have a number of days off in Minnesota. So they did one show and they're going to take a week off. They're going to practice, not taking a week off. I believe it's that original piece, the Ryan Lott piece that he had written and that the Blue Coats are putting on the field. So 83.3 for the Blue Coats, and then a huge gap.
Yep.
Blue Stars 75.2, Colts 74.15. So they're getting closer to the Blue Stars overall in scores and current rankings. Then we get to the Troopers with a 72.95 in 4th. The Madison Scouts with a 72.05. So in the same ballpark now. And then the Crossmen with the 69.4. Now, when we look at the recap, it's sort of the red flags or the green flags. The Blue Stars getting 2nd overall, but 4th in General Effect 2. The Colts 3rd overall, 2nd in General Effect 2. And the Troopers, and probably what was affecting how close they were to the Madison Scouts, were 5th in General Effect 1, but 3rd in General Effect 2, which kind of averaged out, but that allowed the Madison Scouts to leapfrog them in the General Effect caption, which is probably why the Madison Scouts were as close as they were.
Yep.
If we go over to visual, we're not mentioning Blue Coats or Blue Stars. They're pretty chalky, ones and twos all the way. Colts were 4th in proficiency. They were 3rd. The Troopers were 3rd in proficiency.
Okay.
But they were 5th in visual analysis. So it's kind of like, hey, we like what you're trying to do. We need you to do it better, so we can give you the scores. Again, one show, so it could change next week. We did see, a 1.1 in the Mandarin's color guard score last time. So
for all we know.
So, blah. And then we get to music. The Colts were 3rd place, but they were 5th in brass. They were 5th in content, 4th in achievement. Troopers were 3rd in content. Madison Scouts 3rd in achievement and 3rd in brass. So that 2nd place that they got in brass last show, kind of not an anomaly now. We have 2 shows in a row where they're outperforming at least 2 cores in front of them in brass. But then music analysis, Troopers were 3rd in music analysis. They were 2nd in percussion, which they have an incredibly strong percussion section. Madison Scouts 3rd in percussion. Colts 3rd place overall, 5th place in percussion. Blue Stars 2nd overall, 4th in percussion. This has been a reoccurring issue for the Blue Stars over the last few years. And I know they're making changes in design. They've made changes in instruction. They're doing what they need to, but
it's still there.
It is there. It is there. And this year, the percussion,
though, pretty much across the board with brass. So
correct.
That's a good sign.
Everything else is where it needs to be. Percussion is kind of holding it down. Colts this year, similarly, I know that they've gone through some percussion changes over the last few years. 5th in percussion, 0.7 above the Crossmen. So a comfortable 5th in percussion, but still not probably where they want to be when it all gets down to that. Now, the big show this weekend just took place yesterday, last night, DCI West. Were you up for the results?
I was.
Yeah, I was too. I don't go to sleep till like 2. And so when the results come out at 12:15 Central Time, it happens. Now, DCI West, we had 7 drum corps, and for the first time since 2011, a drum corps not named the Blue Devils or Santa Clara Vanguard won DCI West. Do you know the name of that drum corps that won in 2011?
I don't.
The Cadets.
Oh.
The Cadets. Yes, RIP the Cadets. That was the year they won DCI, I think. Didn't they win? Was that the Angels and Demons show?
Yeah.
The best band show to win DCI? BOA show? It's a BOA show. It was. It is. Sorry, I know it's your favorite drum corps show. So, the order. Boston Crusaders won. We just said that. Blue Devils in 2nd. Santa Clara in 3rd. Mandarins in 4th. Blue Knights in 5th. The Academy in 6th. And Seattle Cascades
and it's just clear across the board.
Yeah, and it's pretty clear. Boston with an 82.8, still underneath what the Blue Coats scored. Different show, but Blue Devils 81.8, 1 point away from Boston. Ooh. Santa Clara 81, less than a point away from Blue Devils for 2nd. Mandarin 77.7. At this point, Vanguard it's long past Mandarins. Mandarins are not closer in their mirror as they appear. Blue Knights 73.7. Academy 69.45, Seattle 66.65. General effect captions are all pretty chalky. They placed where they placed. We have to go to music to find any semblance of weirdly, Boston were 3rd in percussion achievement. So maybe they had an off night. They were 1st in content. They were just 3rd in achievement. Vanguard was 1st in achievement, 2nd in content, but they won the percussion caption overall, which, water is wet, Crown's brass is good, Vanguard's drumline's good. And then Mandarins had one weird 5th place ranking in music analysis achievement. So maybe not a good night for the Mandarins brass, not really certain, but Jay Kennedy felt that they had good content, they just weren't achieving it.
For sure.
And then we go to visual, and this is the story to me of the Santa Clara Vanguard 2025. Their visual design is it's a masterclass. We've said it every episode since we started to see it, but Michael Gaines, Andy Toth and company are putting on the field with no props. And we're going to talk about props later on in this episode. They are 1st in content in proficiency, 1st in content in analysis. Now they are 3rd in achievement, but that leaves a lot of room.
Can you imagine what they can do if they get the other two up?
And I think that's going to happen because right now, right now they are scoring pretty well in the other captions. They're 3rd in content for brass, 4th in achievement. Music analysis is high, percussion is high. If they play their horns and march their staging and drill better, they should go up. They should go. If you're the Vanguard, you should probably feel good about what your show is to the judges right now. Can they clean it up? We should hope so. We can hope. But the problem is they're going up against a drum corps in the Blue Devils that are notorious for getting better as the year goes on and
Yes.
for closing. So it will be interesting to see how that goes. Now,
sure.
at that show, we saw 2 drum corps, and we watched some videos, not from that show, but from our earlier shows of the Academy Drum and Bugle Corps and the Seattle Cascades. The Academy doing London Fog, and they had those really cool uniforms with London-esque and epaulets and all kinds of things. And so, do you remember anything from the London Fog show that you'd like to talk about?
Yeah, one of the first things that I noticed was, I guess I would have never thought of it, but it's pretty cool the way they use the umbrellas as a visual effect throughout the whole show.
Yep.
That has so much like room to experiment and do cool things with.
There's like that one where they're like on the 50, right? All the white umbrellas.
Yeah,
and the
something
black
like that.
umbrella.
Yeah, and they do a bunch of like it's throughout the whole show. That really stuck out to me, and I think that there's like, especially as the show goes on, there's a lot of potential for them to do a change, like a thoughtful change later on that will grasp the audience again. So
yeah, absolutely. I really liked the sound and music design that the Academy were doing with whether it's soundscapes, whether it's electronics.
Yeah.
I thought that it's a pretty exciting show. I don't think I would have thought it was London-esque based on, what I heard and then what we're being told.
yeah,
But also keep in mind, a lot of these shows are designed for the all black background that we're going to see in Indianapolis. And when we talk about Seattle, I think that both Academy and Seattle are suffering because you have random stands in the back.
Yeah.
You have random whatever. And it just, there's the suspension of disbelief can only go so far, especially as a visual judge when you're taking it all in. So I do think that once the Academy get to a San Antonio, once they get to Indianapolis, I think their scores should reflect a better design because you can
I see.
this is what you're hoping for the whole time. So we go to Seattle Cascades, and they did their show primary colors, primary shapes. You had their props that started off black with parts of the golden ratio that then would turn to different colors based on the different movements. So you had a more aggressive opener, and they were red.
Yeah.
And they go through there. So another example here with the Academy that I thought the soundscape. I really liked what the Seattle Cascades are asking their performers to do. I think there's a lot of cool elements to the show design. I think we can see in the scores that maybe they're not executing it at the level that they would want to yet, but also they're like a lot of the drum corps in that neighborhood. They've come out later so that they have more time to prepare. So what'd you think about primary and the Cascades?
I think when you were talking about the aggressive opener, that is exactly what I'm going to talk about.
Yeah.
I think they came out the gate and they made you sit up in your chair a little bit, even on the stream, which is big.
Even in a YouTube video,
Yeah, even when you're seeing it on a YouTube video or on a stream or whatever. That's one thing that I definitely admired a lot about it is the way they crafted their opener in the perfect way to kind of grab your attention, which I think is what they need, especially trying to get their name more up there.
Yeah, so. and I think they, more than Academy, suffered from a weird background because the video that we probably saw had this weird, and maybe this is the way they are in the Pacific Northwest. Yeah, they had like a giant box where over the stands in the back, and so you're trying to create a stage, you're trying to do all this stuff, and then you have this weird stands in the back. So yeah, another show that I think once they get into a stadium where you can control the background, I think that we'll definitely see their score.
That's definitely a good point. I've never really thought about how the background can...
You need to think about these things, Aiden, as a future bando. I mean, you're a current bando, but I assume you got to think all these things, everything touched by design. Tonight, Monday night, because today's Monday.
Yes.
Drums Along the Smokies.
The Smokies.
The Smokies.
Not the Rockies.
In Sevierville, Tennessee. We're in Tennessee. We're in the South. We are in the South. We will see a matchup of 3 open class drum corps: the Memphis Blues, the Heat Wave, and the Spartans. Spartans, again, are in process of being evaluated for a world-class promotion. After an intermission, we see Genesis. I think this is Genesis's first competitive show of the year. We'll see them against the Spirit of Atlanta, Music City, Phantom Regiment, Carolina Crown.
The one we want to see, those two together.
Yeah. Without knowing anything, who wins tonight? It's probably between Phantom and Crown.
Yeah.
Does Crown catch Phantom? I mean, Phantom catch Crown already?
I don't think so. I think Crown still got it for now.
I think so too.
And yeah, I just, that's hard. And that's one thing that I think many people would be scared to put their opinion on, but except for you probably about Crown. But I think Kron's going to take it again. So
I do too. At this point last year, I remember I was one of those that's like, Phantom's going to catch Crown. Phantom's going to catch, and it took him a bit, and they did it.
And it will. I think it's
going to happen again.
Yeah,
Phantom is going to catch Crown. Yeah, I agree.
Eventually.
Yeah, agree. So we talked about the Spartans, and they premiered their show a number of days ago out in the East Coast, I'm assuming. Somewhere out there where they're from, because they are from Nashua, New Hampshire. Their show, Mystica, if I mispronounce it, I apologize. All blue uniforms, a very... aquatic blue, maybe? I don't know.
It's something you haven't, like, you saw a little bit with Vanguard last year, kind of that deep blue, but I like the way they did it even more this year because they made it, like, glistening and stuff under the light. And, well, that's the one thing that I really liked about the show is just the way their uniforms looked. Like, was the guard in like a fuchsia pinkish? I can't. I'm trying to remember now. This was another one where forgive me. It looked like they were in a very small high school stadium. The video that we saw. But I do remember as the show went on, I was more and more engaged in what was taking place with the Spartans program. Okay, I'm pretty sure.
This is there's a lot to what they're trying to do. Definitely a harder than normal open class book, I think, but probably wanting to give those performers something to chew on and work on so that you don't want to just go like, all right, now world class, now we're going to bump up the book like a whole grade
start
level.
Here and then maybe water it a little bit.
Exactly. And, they're fighting two battles. I don't say fighting two battles, but they're trying to compete with world class cores now from a very earlier in the schedule, but also they want to win open class. And so you kind of be like, we've got to be clean enough to win open class, but also like
beefy enough to get people to look at us.
Correct. So it's a tightrope that they are walking. It'll be interesting to see how they continue on in the season. The Spartans have been very good in open class, so there's no reason to believe that they wouldn't, or reason not to believe that they're not going to clean it up and be very impressive by championship week. So we'll see how they compare to the world-class groups, because now they're going to be compared to Genesis and Spirit of Atlanta and Music City, which is exactly what they wanted.
For sure.
So that's going to be great. The Genesis Drum and Bugle Corps, who, to my knowledge, is the only group to share one of our videos on their official pages. Thank you to the Genesis Drum and Bugle Corps. Tonight, someone needs to let us know if they are in fact going to use the Sega sound as their mic check, as their amplification check. I really think they should. I think there's a lot. I think Genesis Nation would appreciate that.
Yeah.
I would appreciate. Here's what we'll say. If they do that and someone can send us video proof, I will proudly wear a Genesis drum. I will purchase a Genesis Drum and Bugle Corps shirt and I will wear it for an episode of the program. How's that?
That's good.
Let us know. Let us know that's going to go. Hey, they released their uniforms. Did you check out those uniforms?
I didn't see them yet. No.
Oh my gosh!
This was the first impression.
So they're on their. Go to their Facebook page. I tried to see if it was on their Instagram. It was not. They have been utilizing sort of this rainbow stained glass motif for a number of years, off and on.
Yeah.
And they continue it with, I don't want to call it like an ascot of sorts, but it does start at the collar and comes in almost like a diamond. You see all the colors.
I like the contrast, especially I think whenever you zoom out from, I'm curious how the drill looks with it. I think there's a lot of cool moments like potentially with that. And obviously I think that's what they're trying to do. But
For sure. They tend to have a little bit more green on their sleeves. They have been their Phoenix, their logo is purple, and I've always associated Genesis with being purple, but it seems like they're leaning more into the green aspect of it in this particular incarnation of their uniform. But it'll be fun to see how it looks in real life under the lights in a stadium. So that'll be good. So Genesis, someone let us know if they're going to play the Sega Genesis sound. And send me let me know what shirt I need to wear if and when they do that.
Make a new shirt. Genesis played.
yeah, for sure. They played the Sega sound. I went to the Drum Corps show to hear Genesis play the Sega sound. Current rankings. Now, yes, different shows, different judges.
Say 50 comments about it,
these rankings are actually more fuel to the fire of you shouldn't count scores between, because keep in mind we had a show last night which was the 7th. Some groups haven't competed since the 5th or before the 4th. So when we talk about the top 15 here, Aiden, you haven't seen this yet?
I haven't seen it yet.
So this is based on current highest scores. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Blues in first.
Okay. Yeah.
Boston's in second.
Yeah.
Blue Devils are in third.
Yeah.
Vanguard's in fourth.
Okay.
Crowns in 5th.
Yeah.
Mandarins in 6th.
Yep.
Phantom in 7th. Blue Stars in 8th.
Fair.
Colts in 9th.
Fair.
Blue Knights in 10th.
That'd be cool.
Troopers in 11th. Scouts in 12th.
There's a lot fine with that.
Oh,
and there's a couple here or there, but...
Spirit in 13th.
Okay.
You might have forgot them. The Cavaliers in 14th.
Oh I didn't even think about the Cavaliers. Oh my gosh, I didn't see that.
Wow. Aiden Spicer. I didn't even think about the Cavaliers.
Sorry, guys.
Clip that. 15th, Music City. That's our top 15 right now based on current highest score. Now, obviously, with zero offense to Spirit and, the Cavaliers are probably not a 14th place drum corps right now. Tonight, we should see how other scores shape up and how things go. More cores are going to perform. We're going to see all these things move around by the time we come back to record the next episode. But it is wild that current ranking-wise, like if we were doing this is your seeding, the Cavaliers are 14th. They're barely making the movie theater show right now. So it's pretty exciting. But again, these will all change. But that's just the fun or craziness of comparing show scores from show to show. Yeah. But that's what we'd like to do here. We're going to do that. Prediction time, Aiden. Prediction time. Now, you said you're not going to predict all 12.
Yeah.
But do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first? Do you want to go back and forth? How do you want to do this?
I'll just.
All right. Aiden Spicer is going to go first with his week 3 predictions. Now, these are just Aiden Spicer predictions, right? These are not Aiden and friend?
No, these are just mine.
All right.
Oof.
So you can contact him. His info's on the down below or was on here.
I'm scared. I have a crazy thing to say.
All right. Let's go for it.
I might as well just say the intro. My people, it is time to tap into these totally accurate predictions. TAP, totally accurate, totally, as he said, totally Aiden predictions.
Totally Aiden. You know that song? Suddenly Seymour.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Your dad would play. Come on,
he would
Aiden.
Know.
How would you not know that?
I have the top 6 for no other reason other than I'm scared to do the rest. So,
all right.
And honestly, I don't even, dude. These are okay. Oh my gosh. So 1 and 2, Blue Coats Boston.
Oh, Blue Coats Boston. All right.
3 and 4, I think these could maybe swap. Maybe, but right now I'm playing it safe and saying Blue Devils in 3rd, Vanguard in 4th.
Ooh. All right.
I think, based on what we were talking about earlier, Vanguard could. You never know.
Question mark.
It's a big question mark. I would like to see it. I'm sure many people would like to see it as well. 5th, this one, I have no reason of putting them 5th other than the fact that I'm just biased and I really like it. And if they continue, I have Phantom Regiment in 5th because I'm a fan of what they're doing. I think if they clean it up and they keep going, I think it has a lot of potential. And I'm scared because that puts Crown in 6th, which is crazy to say, but is it?
When was the last time they were 6th? Do you remember?
No.
It's the Horse Show.
The Horse Show? What year was that?
Triple Crown. Was it 06 or 08? I think it was when Spartacus. I could be wrong. Someone let me know in the comment section down below. The Crown people have already turned off, so they're not going to comment. So somebody else let us know. I believe it was the Triple Crown show the last time the Carolina Crown placed 6th. All right. You know what? Your predictions aren't that weird. They aren't not that different.
Okay.
All right. I have Blue winning again. I will be shocked if another corps wins at the end of the year. Sorry, fans. Boston Crusaders in 2nd.
Yeah.
They will be the new Phantom Regiment, always the bridesmaid. That's what they used to say about Phantom Regiment. Always 2nd place. And then they finally won. 3rd. And to the person out there, it may be one, there may be more out there that called me crazy when I made this initial prediction. You are right, okay? I think the Vanguard are going to get 3rd.
That's not ridiculous.
I think 3rd is their ceiling, but I think they're going to get 3rd. And I think it's going to be, I think the tea leaves have already started going out.
And they have that, they have the Ferrari. Like they just got 1st.
Visually, it is just unlike, it is just, it's crazy. It's fantastic. I think Vanguard's getting 3rd. I think that pushes Blue Devils. I don't know the last time the Blue Devils got 4th.
knows?
Just 19 something. I'm gonna guess there's a 19.
There's
in front
probably
of
a
that
19.
number.
Yeah,
Maybe a 19.8 or 19.9. I don't know. The 5th Phantom Regiment.
Yeah.
I've the last year Phantom I had them, which are with the crowns in 6th, which let us know was that 2006, 7, or 8. Mandarins in 7th. I think the Blue Stars are in 8th.
fair.
I think the Cavaliers are at 9th. All right, they were too high earlier, then they're too low. Now I think they're at 9th.
Okay.
I think the Colts are in 10th. I think the Blue Knights are going to get 11th.
I would love to see the Blue Knights.
I think the writing's on the. I think. Look.
I really like it a lot,
man. It is growing on me. It is growing on me. It has dripped deeper and deeper into my subconscious.
No pun intended.
Pun intended, Aiden. Oh gosh. And then in 12th place, I think it's going to be the Troopers.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
You forgot the Cavaliers earlier when we were talking about the rankings. I think the tea leaves are showing this is happening. We already saw the Cavaliers jump Troopers already. And I think Blue Knights are going to, oh man, it's just, we're getting crazy again. We're getting crazy again. So it pains me to have to move my beloved Madison Scouts out of it for now. But week 3 predictions. You could call them power rankings. You could almost say that's where I think we're at right now, which might make a little more sense to some people. But
yeah, I think if finals was today,
I think that's what I think that if finals were today, then Blue Devils would beat Vanguard.
Yes.
So it's a power rankings and a prediction rank. It's a predicting power rankings.
Power predictions.
Power predictions. We have the TAP and we have the PPP. That's a loan.
P cubed?
The P3?
P3.
P3. The predicting power. PPR. Yeah, regardless.
Okay,
All right. So last week we put out an all call that if you had anything you wanted to talk to us about, any questions, any things, and we had an Instagram page email us. Okay. And by Instagram page, you're familiar with bad BOA memes.
Oh,
you're a youngster, so you follow these things. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to read this verbatim. There is no name. It just says bad BOA memes.
Yeah.
Bad to the bone, though, right?
I guess.
Bad like Michael Jackson bad? Let us know in the comment section down below. It says, I personally am a fan of Phantom Show this year. It's very fun and has some amazing brass writing. Thank you, JD Shaw. That being said, I do not think it will be rewarded as much as people would think in the general effect or analysis captions come middle/end of the season because the judges have nothing to latch onto in the show. I feel like they will get tired of the Phantom designers explaining over and over in judging meetings that the show is up to interpretation and has no official meaning, and because of this, the judges will get tired of hearing the same explanation and won't give the show credit for a lot of things. I have a prediction as well. If this does happen, does is capitalized, I feel that the Phantom creative team will begin to panic and start trying to attach and create artificial meaning behind the show, and it will drag the concept, or lack thereof, down and make the show worse. What is your take on this? So I sent this to you yesterday or a day ago, and do you have a take on this, Aiden?
It's definitely something to consider. I feel like it was definitely worded very well to really get you thinking about it.
Very safely worded.
Safely worded.
Was it just like, yo, I think,
Phantom Regiment's terrible.
Thank you for using punctuation and grammar, which y'all don't use anymore, right?
Not often.
I was told that periods and exclamation point in text messages mean different things other than the end of the sentence.
Oh, well, yeah.
It means I'm angry. Like if you said I'm running late, I'll go, okay, with an exclamation point. Would you think that meant?
I don't know. That reads sarcasm. I feel like period is like, okay. Yeah, I think it's definitely a valid thing to think about. Because when was the last show that had no name? I remember you mentioned.
Oh, Madison Scouts 2010, when they just did Slaughter on 10th Avenue, and it was kind of like let's just do an old type of Madison Scout show, but they did it current and updated. Yeah. It was basically their return back into finals, and they had a good run for a number of years.
Okay.
So I would say 2010, I believe.
I think that it's something to think about.
Mm-hmm.
Do I personally think that'll happen? I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think he kind of nailed it on the board of like, if this happened, then this. Like, I think all of that completely makes sense.
Sure.
And what he said, it's a completely valid take. I've said it a million times. Definitely something to consider, but I don't think it'll happen
Sure.
necessarily. I still think Phantom Regiment is gonna keep is gonna keep grabbing the audience emotionally, and I think it's definitely a possibility though. Now that I'm thinking about it, but I'm curious to hear what you have to say about it. But
yeah, you know, I someone who judges general effect. I judge general effect in marching band. I've judged general effect in indoor percussion. I've written for drum corps, open class, world class, stuff like that. You know, the important thing that everyone needs to remember about how the judges do this is you can't judge what's not there. You can't say, I really wish you would have done this or that you had this.
Yeah.
You can think that, which maybe it goes to the root of what this person is asking. But at the end of the day, you have to judge what they're doing. And so if they're doing something, absolute music, absolute drill, whatever, at a high level, you have to reward it. You can't go like, well, I would have rewarded it if the show was called Blast Off.
well, was it generally effective?
Correct. It's like if you're judging, let's use Blast Off. If you were judging Boston and you go like, God, if you had changed your title to Blast Off, I would give you another point. You can't do that. That doesn't work. If you were judging Spirit, whose show is called Rocket, and they said, but man, if it was Blast Off, I would have given you like, you just don't do that.
You can't do that.
You can't
Okay,
do that.
yeah.
Now, in the spirit of honesty, when I was with Guardians and we did some Kanye West music, he wasn't crazy yet. I had a judge in critique say, I really wish you would have played Gold Digger. I knew that song. Whether that affected his score or not, I don't know. But also, we were an open class corps. We was doing a Texas tour. We weren't going to finals or anything like that. I think maybe there was a different kind of thing. So I can understand that there may be a concern that a judge might be like, you know, you didn't have a title. Or I just didn't get it. But you keep talking about it, and I don't disagree. You know, just the emotional response that a lot of people are having to their performance through the music, through all of this stuff. You literally you can't deny that, and you can't push it aside and sit there with your arms crossed and go like, well, I'm just not going to reward it. Now, you can have an opinion on all of that. And there are many people in our comments that have opinions about this type of show and this show design. And that's great.
I think
we welcome that.
Trying to profit, not profit, but like last year, not money, but like last year, like I'm a believer that like they beat Carolina Crown on just sheer audience, like willpower because of the way they just like took all the emotion out of the audience. And by the time they like got to Blue Devils, we talked about it a lot, but I think that's what's making Phantom Regiment stand out from others when they might not necessarily be the Crown brass or be like whoever they're trying to get ahead of. But I think this whole show is profiting off of what the modern Phantom Regiment is with the emotional standpoint. So
yeah, I absolutely do not disagree with that. You know, I've said, and we don't have to dive too much into this because this is a long discussion I've had many times. There are a lot of drum corps that could only do a certain type of show, and that drum corps itself can benefit from it.
Yeah.
I think Phantom is one of, if not the only drum corps that could do this type of show. Like, yeah, we're just going to go out and play music really, really well. Maybe Crown, I'm not certain. Yeah. But I think Phantom Regiment will get the benefit of the doubt on this type of show based on their history of always being a very music first drum corps, very emotional, very, very just like, that's what we do. That's who we are.
That's why a lot of people like Phantom Regiment.
Yeah. And it now to a fault in some cases, when those years where they're not quite doing as well, you know, where they're almost not making finals and they're like, but we're the Phantom Regiment. We play really well. And it's like, yeah, but you also have to do the other things.
Yes, it's true.
And post-COVID, they're like, why don't we do all the other things, but do what we do really, really well? And it is paying off in spades. So do I think that if they had a show title and a theme that would give them the nudge over a Carolina Crown? I don't think so. I don't think it penalizes them. I don't think it hurts them. I think only Phantom Regiment could do this type of show. And yeah, I don't see it hurting them in any way. And in a lot of ways, to some people, not everyone, as we can see in our comment section from time to time, this might be just refreshing to a lot of people, right? Like
I thought it was personally.
For me, like Vanguard doing avant-garde. Yeah, it helps if you understand what avant-garde is and what it is in fashion or what it is in visual, what it is in music. And to me, the quieter parts of the music book are the most avant-garde of the show. Everything else is just loud drum corps stuff. But when you get to the Airvo part stuff, Airvo Parrot, it's like, oh, it's just, that's to me is the most masterful music design is when they're quiet, when it's just like, and we didn't touch on this, but this show is screaming for a down ending. The Vanguard show, I think they need to bring back all of that soft minimalist Airvo Parrot stuff. They may already be doing that. And if you don't, that's a free tip from me. But regardless, like, I think some people just want to go and like watch a show. And you don't need to have a thesis. You don't need to understand.
They don't need to hand out pamphlets.
Yes.
Our show is about this and this is like, you just got to watch it and just love it.
Now, the irony of what you just said is that Phantom Regiment was notorious for passing out pamphlets a long time ago when they did Spartacus the first time, I believe, like in the 80s. Like they passed out like, this is what our show's about. And so we've gone from, we're going to give you an explanation to, we're just going to play March. Play March really well.
Is it Avant-Garde or Avant-Garde? One of the announcers said Avant-Garde.
Well, that was brand. So the pronunciation is Avant-Garde.
Yeah,
like the
real one.
But the way they're capitalizing it is obviously to bring out Vanguard.
Avant-Garde.
So he said Avant-Garde, right? Or he emphasized the Avant-Garde or the Avant-Garde.
Yeah, he said Avant-Garde.
I'm just going to pronounce it Avant-Garde because
I like that one better. But
that's the way it's pronounced.
It's also cool.
Well, if they'll go back to Boston, if they wrote it little b, big zero, big O, little m, would you go boom? Oh, actually, you might.
You might. I don't know. But
I don't know. Michael Gaines, put in the comment section how you would like us to pronounce your show. Avant-Garde. Avant-Garde.
Avant-Garde.
Avant-Garde. Yeah, Avant. Now, there is a beauty salon and type of product called Avant.
Okay.
So Avant-Garde. I don't know. And let us know. Let us know. Any Spicer shout-outs for the day? For the episode? Everyone's waiting. They want to be shouted out by Aiden Spicer.
Shout out Chiba Hut, Hero Way, Leander, Texas.
What's your favorite sandwich to make?
My favorite sandwich to make?
Yes.
Let me think about that.
Oh my gosh.
Probably. Oh, well, we had this one. It's called the AK-47, and it's like I don't know. It's got like roast beef, onions, and cheese or whatever. It's so easy to make, and it comes with no veggies, so you don't have to do anything on it. You just put it in the basket. That's it.
You just put it in the basket. What's your favorite sandwich to eat from Chiba Hut?
Okay, I make like when I'm going on break, I just make my own stuff. But like off of the menu, you can't go wrong. This is so basic, as everybody like all the Chiba Hut fanatics would be like, because we have like a secret menu of like 50 sandwiches. But the Cali Mist, it's a spicy club. It's just turkey, jalapenos, chipotle mayo, pepper jack, bacon, avocado. Can't go wrong.
That all sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, next time you should bring some Chiba Hut.
I might.
We could do a what is it? What do they call it when you eat on camera? A mukbang. Is that what you want? Do you want mukbang gem style?
No.
Do you want gem SMRs on here?
Gem SMRs.
All right. Do you have a sign off? Like, oh hey.
Hook'em horns.
Yeah, I'll
Hook'em horns.
Yes, but we won't make this the thumbnail.
Yeah.
Because that one person. Yeah. We should do one of those like fun where the people are so shocked, right? When they're like.
Yeah, those like.
All right, so give your shocked face. Ready? 1, 2, ready, go.